WWE Raw is changing to the Syfy channel for the next 2 weeks. However, it looks like a lot of people were doing some channel changing during this episode of Monday Night Raw. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. The Raw quarter hour numbers are in, and pretty much after quarter 5, the entire show tanked. Normally, we get to quarter 9 and then the show tanks, but this week, after quarter 5, it was just down, until we got to the main event where, surprisingly, they had a little bit of an increase, but I guess the number got that low by the time they got to quarter 12. Quarter 11 had killed it, and so quarter 12 therefore had to almost go up in a way. So let's start. Quarter 1, 8 o'clock to 8:15. We kick off Raw with the strongest thing that they have. Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, live promo, and it starts with a 1.464 million views.
Yeah, so that is the strongest thing they've got. It is the strongest rating they produced. It's the thing that we were looking forward most to. As we said in the rating, you've got to spread these three out. I think it's pretty much... I would actually go saying this is factual. I think if we spread these three out and put this as a main event segment, the rating is way higher.
Absolutely, 100%.
But why is that? Well, why wouldn't Triple H do that? And it's not like, oh, he knows these next 2 weeks are on Syfy, so he doesn't care. You need to structure your show for ratings, man. And I feel like in WWE, maybe, is it because WWE maybe never did structure its show for ratings, and when it did, you know, when they had good ratings, they were always great and they never thought we needed to change it? Or is it just a gimmick of they seriously need to actually have a revamp on how they structure a show?
I think it's the latter.
Because when you look at Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression, I think they're more or less structured perfectly. I never looked at a match and went, why is that main eventing?
No. And yeah, but
why is he one and done?
I feel like I'm doing that pretty much every week now.
Yep. So,
but see, back in that, you never remember thinking, oh, fuck me. Why did Austin not come back?
Everyone... He took his ball.
But no, when everyone had their final part on the show, it felt like they were finished. It felt like, well, there's no reason to see them again. But for me, like, think of the amount of times back in the day, like, Austin would kick off a show in the opening segment, or The Rock would kick off a show. You always got them. They would kick off the show, and 9 times out of 10, they would be the main event. Yeah. And then throughout the show, you would see them maybe cut a backstage promo, or be in the locker room, or something like that, but we don't get that now. Anyway, quarter 2, 8:15, 8:30 p.m, we got the continuation of this promo, followed by a Judgment Day backstage angle. And this went up 10%, 1.609 million. And then the quarter to quarter, or the demo, quarter change, went up 9%. The 18 to 49 went up 9% to 762,000. So increases of 10% in viewership and 9% in the demo. Why do you think that is?
Why do I think that is? I think that could be people finding it on Syfy channel.
So you think that's more to do with people rather than them being more interested in the Judgment Day stuff? Because I am a little bit surprised that more people wouldn't have tuned in for the opening segment. So I think it might be a case of maybe people were late getting to start Raw, and by quarter 2 happened that they'd found it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Now, some people would argue it doesn't take 15 minutes to find a channel, which, yes, I'll accept that, but maybe some people are lackadaisical, don't really care about the opening segment on Raw or something like that.
Here, it is very possible that you could, if you're on a channel and you expect it to be on that channel, you might be waiting 5 minutes, you think, oh, it's running late. The thing before it's had an overrun or something like that. So, yeah, up 10% though, good numbers, I guess. Quarter 3, 8:30 to 8:45, Tosawa and Otis versus the Creed brothers. Then we got the post-match with Chad Gable, Maxine Dupree and the Wyatt Six. This went down 4% in viewership, down to 1.541 million. So, yeah, we got the Wyatt Six, didn't really matter, down 4%. Quarter 4, 8:45 to 9 p.m, Judgment Day backstage angle. And then Sheamus versus Bronson Reed. This went down 2%, 1.513 million. Quarter 5, we got the continuation of Sheamus versus Reed. We got post-match with Pete Dunne. Then we got a Damian Priest promo. We got a Braun Breaker promo. And then we got Carlito versus Jey Uso. And this went up 4% in quarter 5. So a couple of members of the Judgment Day in there. And it was up 4%. Not great though. I mean, the ratings aren't fantastic here.
No, but I think Raw's had a similar formula over the years, months, whatever, with the Judgment Day. That is like the only thing they seem to have throughout the show. They don't. It's like no one else gets it.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I honestly do not know why. Quarter 6 right now, we begin to see the decline of Raw, and it's just all downhill for here. Quarter 6, 9:15 to 9:30. Carlito versus Jay continues. Selena Vega, Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark backstage angle, and then an Awesome Truth backstage angle. This went down 7% to 1.46 million. Again, Deville, Baszler, Stark, they are rating killers, and no one's going to tell me otherwise.
No, release them. I don't mind the film, but I mean, literally, there's no need for these people to take up like half an hour at all.
I tell you what, people won't agree with this, but I will. It's the fucking truth. Sonya Deville was a better GM than both Pierce and the other guy whose name I can't even remember. So
Aldas.
You tell me she wasn't?
So you not do F1? No, he was. He was absolutely better.
I mean, Sonya Deville being a GM is the only time I've found Naomi relevant.
Yeah, it was actually like a pretty decent storyline.
It wasn't quite Austin McMahon, but it was probably one of the best sort of GM feuds that we've seen.
It was lesbian against black one.
In the past decade, right? Quarter 7, Karrion Kross live promo. Woods versus Kross. Final Testament with Woods, or with Kross even, and then Sami Zayn backstage promo. Again, down 2%. 1.434 million. Hardly surprising. 9:45 to 10 p.m. We got a Liv Morgan promo, and then Sami Zayn versus Dominic Mysterio. Down 3%. 1.388 million. Not good. Quarter 9, 10 o'clock to 10:15 p.m. Zayn versus Dominic continues. Post-match Judgment Day. Braun Breaker, Jey Uso, Uncle Howdy promo. We got Gable and the Creed brothers and Adam Pearce backstage, and then we got a Rhea Ripley promo. Down 4%. 1.336.
We're going down.
Quarter 10 really dies here. 10:15 to 10:30. Baszler, Deville and Stark versus Katana Chance, Caden Carter and Lyra Valkyria. Post-match with the Damage Control return and a Gunther promo. This went down 11% in viewership, down to 1.190 million. And in the key demo, it lost 14%, going down to 561. So we're deep in the red at this point. It is 5 consecutive quarters in a row that Raw has went down. But don't worry, they're going to make it 6. Quarter 11, 10:30 to 10:45, Damage Control backstage promo, and then a Judgment Day backstage promo, and still the rating goes down 1%. The rating went down from that 6-woman tag team match. I don't know how that happens, but it happened here. 1.184 million, 6th consecutive quarter where we've seen red. And then we go into quarter 12, main event, 10:45, 11 p.m. Bit of a bounce back here. Balor versus Gunther with the post-match. Damian Priest coming to save his little buddy. We get the brawl between Gunther and Damian Priest to end the show. This went up 6% in viewership to 1.254 million and up 7% in the key demo to 599,000. But, I mean, overall, this was a terrible rating and people were just tuning out pretty much from start to finish. Quarter 2 was up on quarter 1, but I think that is because of the channel change and people just finding it. Quarter 5 was up on quarter 4, slightly, but that's because it's quarter 5, it's the top of the hour. That quarter is always up. Statistically, quarter 5 normally, a lot of weeks, is the best quarter. And then quarter 12 went up. But we've seen declines in quarter 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Had this been on USA Network, I would imagine quarter 1 would have been higher than quarter 2, and we would have seen a decline in quarter 2 as well. So the only 2 quarters that effectively went up, if we rule out the channel changing, was quarter 5, which always goes up because it's the top of the hour, in the main event. But we had 6 consecutive quarters going down. The rating was dragged so low, by the time we got to the main event, I mean, it would almost be impossible for this not to go up, considering it's the Raw go-home show before SummerSlam. You've got Gunther taking on Balor. He's competing for the WWE World Championship, and you know you're going to get Damian Priest involved. So, I mean, this quarter was always going to go up especially after that 6 women's tag dragged the number down so low in the first place. So for me, these numbers are terrible. A lot of people saying it's one of the worst Raws I've seen in a while. It was very match heavy. I agree with that. They could have definitely took it a match or two or shortened a match and gave us more shit with Punk and Drew McIntyre and whatnot. But, you know, it is what it is.
Is what it is. Could it be a case of people on Syfy sticking around for a wee bit of Monday Night Raw that they haven't seen in years, and then that's why there's so much more people have tuned out? Because it seems to be a lot more than usual. Or is it because the Olympics is on, and some people are like, well, fuck this, I'm going to watch the Olympics? No, I don't know why. Like, why would you watch
the Olympics? Could it just be a shit show?
Yeah.
Because we didn't finish it to the end. We watched the rest of it the next day. So what quarter did you tune out on?
Let's see. I believe it was...
What was the last thing we seen?
It was the Jey Uso Braun Breaker stuff. That match had just ended, and it was going to be the 3-on-3 match next, I believe. The women's.
Well, that's 9:15. Well, we're part of the 11% then.
We're part of the 11%.
So there you go.
Can't blame us. Can't beat them, join them.
You can't beat them, join them. That's the ratings, guys.
What a red for the red brand.
Well, there you go. Maybe WWE need a green brand.
Absolutely.
Doesn't quite work that way though, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Velocity.
Saturday morning slam.
I'll stick with
Velocity. That's plenty.